The Equal Pay Act was a big step in the fight for equal pay. Unfortunately, 55 years later, we still do not get paid the same. Women like Kat Sadler have encountered discrimination over pay.
Not to my knowledge, no. I don't have any first-hand experience. I've really only worked in my 20-year career, I've really only worked in 3 different newsrooms. I'm very lucky in that sense, but I will tell you this. Since I have come forward with my story, I have heard from a lot of people, mind you, people in all different industries who feel like they are being unfairly paid.
How do you feel about the Time's Up movement that has recently started at the Golden Globes?
I think it's powerful. I'm in awe of these courageous women coming forward. I love that they are fierce and intelligent and clever and unapologetic and bold in every move that they're making and everything that they're saying, and I'm learning from them. I mean, just like the rest of the world.
Yes.
I think for most industries, they're going to have an easier way forward, but the Hollywood industry, I think it's going to take what's happening now is people are talking about their salaries more, and the more people disclose what they're making and have these honest, sometimes controversial conversations, the quicker it will be to resolve what's going on. I mean, if you look at the sports industry, for example, and you look at the NBA and the NFL and the MLB, like, everybody knows what these athletes are making. It's like public knowledge, but for some reason in Hollywood in particular, it's always been a hush-hush kind of a situation, and maybe part of that was to hold women down. I mean, people were getting away with it for a very long time, unbeknownst to we the women, and that happened to me. I was at a network for 12 years not knowing what my male counterparts were making until I had that information. I didn't know that I was being treated.
What caused the Equal Pay Act to go into place?
It was part of the Civil Rights Act, and it was a look at what people were getting paid for various jobs, mostly in the blue-collar sector, so we're looking at factory work and jobs like that. And what actually started the whole Equal Pay Act for women was based on several lawsuits that came from African-American males. So they were relegated to doing jobs that you had to take tests for, even though it wasn't required and nothing about the test was going to make you do your job better or anything. But it was a way for the South to continue their Jim Crow laws and to continue with the segregation. So the Supreme Court ruled that you can't have that kind of pay based on jobs when it's arbitrary, when the testing is arbitrary. And that kind of overflowed into the women's, their equal pay when they're like, well, we're doing the same job and we're not getting paid. So where are we going from here? And the first class action from that was actually against Newsweek magazine.
We went to the Women's March to see other women's views on the Equal Pay Act.
First, we want to start off by asking, do you believe women get paid equally?
No.
What do you think we as women can do to fix that?
We need to speak up, find our voice. We need to get actively involved in politics.
Yes.
And we just need to say, we're not going to accept it anymore. We're just not.
Okay,
So first, we were wondering, do you think women are paid equally?
No.
What do you think we as women can do to fix that?
I think we should elicit men who have the power right now to get us money.
I know they don't get paid equally.
And what do you think women or anyone should do to fix this?
Well, we need to vote and we need to run for office. More women need to run for office. Republican women, Democratic women, it doesn't matter. We need more women.
Do you think women are paid equally?
No.
What do you think we as women can do about that?
I think that the biggest thing you can do is speak up in the workplace. You know, if you make a fuss about it at work, well, I mean, they might fire you, but that's, you know, if you get fired, then you have a case, and you can make a even bigger deal about it.
Yeah.
And I love your button.
Do you think that people fighting for equal pay know that they can use the Equal Pay Act as...
No, I don't. When you start working, a lot of times, especially in blue collar jobs or in the gender realm, they're called pink collar jobs. Your rights as an employee would be posted on the back of the door or something like that, right? So if you're waiting tables or something, that's where you're going to see it. And if you stand around reading the back of that, they're going to be like, well, why aren't you working? So it's not like you're getting an HR manual telling you where to look it up and where to find it. So the majority of women who are working at a big gap, not, you know, where they know they're working at an hourly rate and this is what they're getting and they think that's what everybody else is getting, they're usually not familiar with the fact that they have legal rights and they can challenge it. Because those kinds of jobs are not required. They usually keep them under 30 hours so they don't have to do benefits or insurance.